Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everyone who is watching this video. Get comfortable, get cozy, grab some popcorn or whatever you need to do to feel calm, collected, because we are doing the final season official trailer breakdown video. Of course, I'm going to show you the trailer one more time for those who need a little recap or for those that just want to watch it anyway. Let's get straight into the trailer.
Lee,
it's okay.
no.
It's okay. Don't be afraid. I'll miss you.
Lee. His name was Lee.
I can't imagine what that must have been like. People leave, they die, there's less of us all around. It's hard to survive too long these days without being a bit troubled.
We gonna do it? We're doing it.
Welcome to Erickson's boarding school for troubled youth. It's our little kingdom. Kids are safe here. We make sure of it.
I'm Clementine.
Yeah, I know. Your kid won't stop talking about you.
Does he know what that is?
Yes.
We all had to grow up fast, but you're safe now. And so's your friend.
Hey, over here!
Clem, look. Someone sabotaged this.
Marlin! We got walkers on the fence!
Monsters.
Everyone's counting on me to step up. I can't let another kid die.
We're not gonna let that happen. I promise.
I just keep thinking that things might have ended differently if I was there.
Everybody dies. It's not really up to us anymore.
You don't understand. I'm trying to protect you!
The first person who taught me about survival was Lee.
What'd he teach you?
How to say goodbye. Lee. His name was Lee.
Lee, his name was Lee. Now, this is quite interesting because I don't believe Telltale will actually show the season 1 flashback of Lee's death in the final season. I think that was purposely edited in for the trailer itself to kind of remind the audience that Lee died and how much and how big of a role Lee has on Clementine. And of course, the way she teaches AJ is through the learning style and the teaching style of Lee. Now, when Clementine says Lee, his name was Lee, do you guys think that this was actually a conversation between AJ and Lee, or was this just a conversation between Clementine and someone else in the future? However, did it just make sense for it to be said in this area, so it seems like Clementine's actually talking about Lee to AJ? Because personally, I believe since AJ is about 7, Clementine has been with AJ for a very long time. So of course she would have told him about Lee and all the important characters in her life. So I don't believe that AJ has only learned about Lee right now in season 4, because it just wouldn't make sense story-wise. Of course Lee has been a major part in Clementine's life, and AJ is a big part in Clementine's life. So of course it only makes sense for Clementine to tell AJ about him whenever he could understand and speak properly, which would be like 2-3 years before this whole apocalypse even started.
I can't imagine what that must have been like. People leave, they die.
I can't imagine what that must have felt like, and people leave or die. So this actually, if you have watched the 15 minutes of gameplay, this would actually refer to the actual car crash that Clementine has in the start of the episode. Of course, we see Clementine actually driving and she crashes with AJ, and of course Marlin picks up AJ, and then Clementine's kind of like all fuzzy up and stuff like that. This is because they're obviously concentrating on the conversation between Clementine and her car crash. So of course he must have been like, oh, I can't believe how that must have felt like, because clearly she's got a bandage, so that must hurt. And then she obviously there talks about the boarding school and, you know, why is it so empty And why isn't a lot of people? You think a community would be filled with people, like a lot of people, almost to the point where it'd get overcrowded, like Wellington in season 2. However, if Clementine does have that suspicion, he replies saying people leave or they die, which is quite interesting.
There's less of us all around. It's hard to survive too long these days without being a bit troubled.
Minerva and Sophie, this is quite interesting. I just thought I'd want to mention why 10 is so sad. Minerva and Sophie, is that his younger sister? Is that his older sister? Is that family members, or is it just someone who's taking care of him for the apocalypse and then died because of him? Perhaps maybe he feels very I'd say very guilt-like. He's got a very guilt-like face. And then this is actually quite significant because afterwards you do see Violet actually giving 10 roses, which is actually quite interesting, some sort of flower to actually show empathy, emotion, and, you know, just confronting him and consoling him, to be like, okay, don't worry, relax. This is quite interesting because it shows Violet's character to me more in depth than I thought. I thought she was just going to be another rehash of Jane and Molly because she said not to be a people person. However, this is quite interesting. The reason I can see depth in her character is because she really cares about those close to her. Jane and Molly obviously did. However, this is just really nice of her. This is one of her soft spots because Violet is later on seen as a bit more harsh. Not harsh, but just cold towards Clementine.
There's less of us all around. It's hard to survive too long these days without being a bit troubled.
We gonna do it? We're doing it.
Welcome to Erickson's boarding school for troubled youth. It's our little kingdom.
Troubled youth, huh? This is quite interesting. What kind of troubled do they mean? Do they mean troubled as in perhaps not mentally stable, some sort of impairment? Or does it mean troubled as in behavior wise, not the best behavior is actually shown from these children? Obviously we know Violet is not really a people person, so clearly maybe this is why she's sent here. 10 is younger. I don't know if they mean troubled as in Sarah, like from season 2, where she just, you know, the issue, Sarah was hinted to be autistic, maybe even like suffering from PTSD and just not very aware of situation. Her conscious level was a bit different to the norm, which is quite interesting. I don't think they mean troubled by that way, not like mentally ill or like, you know, some sort of disability. I think they just mean it in general, like behavior wise it's a bit different to a normal person.
Kids are safe here. We make sure of it.
The reason Marlon says kids are safe here, you can very much tell that he is the leader role in this boarding school, Erickson's boarding school if you want. Why is this? Okay, this is quite significant. In my opinion, I believe this is because he has a lot of responsibility. He is the leader and obviously wants to reassure Clementine, because this is obviously the first time Clementine goes into the boarding school, and you know, obviously he's giving her like a little tour on the outside, showing her where are the points of interest in the boarding school. This is quite significant just to mention his responsibility, because I will get later into that when we get more information from this.
I'm Clementine. Yeah, I know. Your kid won't stop talking about you.
Hey. Violet, don't ever try pull this attitude with me, because I will punch you the first chance I get. Alright, so AJ is here. This is Telltale's way of saying how much AJ looks up to Clementine. So furthermore kind of emphasizing the relationship between Clementine and AJ, between you the player and AJ. Clearly AJ is very much happy to be with other people. In the first 15 minutes he's always looking to be with other people, have some sort of home. He's very tired of running. He wants to stop running. He wants to be done running, pun intended. So clearly here, when he's looking out for people and he's just talking to people, you know, he's not very much used to talking to people. So whenever he gets the chance to talk to people, he's very excited, he's very happy, you know. And then Violet is kind of like, oh, another kid, go away AJ. And obviously Clementine, this is a part of where you can actually do character development, where you can actually talk to the characters. I believe this will be like a hub area where you can actually look around and actually talk to individual people, look at individual stuff, etc. And obviously Violet is one of the people that are points of interest you can actually talk to.
Does he know what that is?
Yes.
this bit always gets me. I really like this bit. So Lewis probably my favorite character so far. I know we haven't got much of any character really except Marlon. However, I just really like Lewis because I feel like his character is going to be very original, and you know, this is why I really like him so far. So clearly Lewis is kind of not suspicious but kind of surprised at the fact that AJ at around 6 years old knows what a gun is and knows how to use it. It's quite interesting to show how the boarding school actually react to Clementine and AJ's special bond. Of course, maybe he's not used to certain characters using guns. Later on in the trailer, we see characters like 10 only using a knife, etc. So maybe a gun is almost like the next step. And obviously a gun is obviously, you know, you got recoil, etc. So maybe it's just too much for a little kid, which is why they kind of teach you to use a knife first. So clearly maybe he's surprised, or maybe just surprised the fact that this kid is obviously protecting himself, and usually an older teenager will look out for the kids instead of the kids looking out for themselves.
We all had to grow up fast, but you're safe now. And so's your friend.
Hey, over here!
Clem, look. Someone sabotaged this.
Who sabotaged this? Now this is very interesting because it reminded me of a season 1 episode 2 situation in Starved for Help, where we actually get a character who actually gets his legs stuck into a bear trap when we're with Mark, Lee and Kenny. This is quite significant because I feel like this is a very similar situation. I really hope they don't rehash storyline purposes and storyline characters, but this is quite significant. You know, this looks like some sort of trap. I can't really give you, but I know this is for sure an animal trap. I can't really give you what animal it would be, etc. But it just signifies this is the start of actually seeing a villain. This is how the story progresses. We see a villain, etc. So similar to the bear trap, we actually get like maybe that's a bear trap or something like that, where an animal trap you actually use it for, you know, food. Clearly we're in a forest, so we expect almost like wild animals to be out and about, and if you get caught they die and there's your food. But here is a walker actually getting trapped either on purpose or by accident, but either way it signifies the start of the villain's return or the villain's appearance.
Marlon! We got walkers on the fence!
Monsters.
Everyone's counting on me to step up.
I skipped a lot just because it's very self-explanatory what's happening there. This is quite significant. So you see the kid right here. Look how close the walker is, because this is going to be very important. Remember this person, please. Remember this character, because not very soon I will be mentioning him again.
I can't let another kid die.
We're not gonna let that happen.
I can't let another kid die. What's going on? I personally believe that kid dies right there. I feel like he is too close to the zombie, and you know, that's one of the kids that die, and Marlon is just, you know, Marlon's nowhere to be seen. So maybe that's where the actual character died. Perhaps this is where this character dies, and then Marlon's all of a sudden feeling a bit angry at himself. Maybe obviously you see Marlon with the actual crossbow shooting it, so maybe the walker bites that person and then Marlon only realizes it and then shoots the zombie and it's too late. Or it was a close encounter and then of course Marlon kills the zombie, and then what's it called, the whole idea of I can't let another kid die could actually been a kid that died beforehand, before the start of episode 1, and that kid could actually be related to 10, who's actually very sad about the 2 graveyards, which actually could be the 2 kids that are actually kind of 10 is sad about, and they died, and now Marlon feels a bit sad and a bit guilty, and you know, it's his responsibility. So that's full circle in terms of that idea.
I promise.
I just keep thinking that things might have ended differently if I was there.
Everybody dies. It's not really up to us anymore.
So here we could be talking about 10's situation, where 10's family is actually the Minerva and Sophie people who actually related to 10, maybe this could be the conversation that we're talking about, and maybe that if Violet was there, maybe it could have been different and 10 wouldn't be in this situation. Or we could be talking about that little ethnic kid who actually died, perhaps. We never know. But Violet is obviously thinking about, oh, what if I was there? It could have been different.
Everybody dies. It's not really up to us anymore.
That is quite sad. It just shows you the acceptance of death at this point. Bro, what is that? So there we see Rosie and Marlon's dog actually in action, biting and just showing no mercy to that walker. And then we see some sort of like I don't even know what it is. It's just something just smashing a walker into the tree. Quite interesting. And then you have here this, wow, the iconography and the cinematography of this shot is crazy good. It shows, this is probably towards the end of the episode where we see a lot of action. Clearly another kid died, and and then obviously you have here Marlon is just, it just looks crazy. I'm not even going to lie, it looks like he's not mentally stable, which will actually be proven in a couple seconds when we hear his famous line.
You don't understand. I'm trying to protect you!
This clearly another kid died, or maybe just very angry at this people not believing in him. So many people died under his responsibility. And here, this could be an important area where we can see, I personally think Marlon could be mentally unstable or have like impairment in his decisions, or just in general make poor decisions at this stage, or just be mentally, have a mental breakdown, even perhaps commit suicide. A lot of people think that maybe one of the kids will commit suicide or just, you know, die at the end of episode 1 to create a shock value. It could happen, I'm not lying, it could happen. At this point we never know, but it just sounds like he's just gone off, like he doesn't believe what's going on. He's just got such an impairment, he's not 100% there.
The first person who taught me about survival was Lee.
What'd he teach you?
How to say goodbye.
Teach you how to say goodbye. This is clearly once again talking to Marlon, as we can see. Perhaps even after the decisions where he's trying to say, I'm trying to protect you, maybe Clementine can intervene and say, look, just say goodbye. You know, you can't help those who don't want help. It's crazy, man. It's clearly showing that Clementine's just like, oh, another broken person. You know, to be honest, at this stage, I don't believe Clementine should be with a group. Every group with her, it just puts her down, but obviously for story purposes, she needs a group. So it's quite significant, you know, when we see the mental breakdowns, the kids. I'm really excited, man. I really enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is my personal intake. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day. Tell me what you guys think in the description. Tell me if you think this was a good breakdown. Subscribe, like, comment, and of course, in a bit.